Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Second taxi operator gunned down in Portmore. The police in St. Catherine are probing the murder of another taxi operator who was shot and killed in Waterford in Portmore on Wednesday. Just 2 hours before, another cab was gunned down in Cumberland in the parish. The Corporate Communications Unit confirmed the shooting, but could not disclose the identity of the taxi operator killed in Waterford. Hector Newman, president of the Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services, was outraged by the latest developments. That would make 4 taximen shot and wounded in 14 days, 2 killed in 1 day in Portmore, 1 shot in a separate incident by a cop in Portmore. In all, 3 taximen have been killed in 8 days. Who will be the next, Newman asked. On Wednesday, in the first murder of a taxi operator in Portmore, 43-year-old Mark Perry, a resident of Gilden Way, Southborough, St. Catherine, was shot dead by unknown assailants in the Independent City. Reports are that Perry was at the intersection of Passageford Drive and Independent City about 9:15 a.m. when armed men drove up on the motorcycle. The pliant rider got off the motorcycle and opened fire, hitting the deceased. He was pronounced dead at hospital. The men escaped in the area. Newman estimated that there have been 17 incidents of abductions, shootings and murders including local taxi operators since the start of the year. There could be way more. No one is commenting on the deaths and abductions of these taxi operators. When something happens to a JUTC driver, there is a big hullabaloo about it. But when it happens to a local taximan or bus driver, there is a big hush-hush. Is this a psychosocial problem that is causing this indifference to the plight of taxi operators? Newman asked. There is a growing list of murders that is of grave concern to the transport sector. On February 3, 2002, taxi operator 52-year-old Norman Soursop Francis was shot and killed on Riverside Drive in Havendale, St. Andrew. On March 4, 2022, taxi driver 29-year-old Orlando Patterson, who lived in Gregory Park in Portmore in the parish, was shot and killed on Walker's Road in St. Catherine. The police report that explosions were heard in the vicinity of the Angels Run About at about 9:20 p.m. and an alarm was raised. On March 11, 2022, a taxi operator was found shot dead on the Helsher Main Road in Portmore. He was later identified as 48-year-old Christopher Ellis of Old Harbour Glaze, St. Catherine. Ellis was found near his Toyota Probox about 8:30 p.m. In the first week of April, a taxi operator affiliated to the Travelers Taxi Service was killed in Kingston. His identity has not been established. Man charged with abduction, assault at common law. A St. Andrew man who allegedly abducted a woman at gunpoint in Maryland District, Woodford in the parish last year, has been charged. Charged with illegal possession of firearm, assault at common law, and forcible abduction is 26-year-old Jamar Grant of James Crescent, 9 miles in Bull Bay in the parish. Reports are that on Thursday, November 25, 2021, at about 10:30 p.m., a woman was walking in the community when Grant allegedly forcefully restrained her, pointed a gun to her head, and threatened to kill her. The woman reportedly managed to escape harm and reported the incident to the police. Grant, who is known to the woman, was arrested on Sunday, April 10, and charged following an interview. His court date is being finalized. Indian accused of shooting at police, shop breaking in Lawrence Tavern. A 27-year-old man has been accused of shooting at police and shop breaking, among other charges, following an incident in Lawrence Tavern Square, St. Andrew last month. Anthony Williams, otherwise called Spanner or Indian, a former of Charlton Drive, Ewerton, St. Catherine, has been charged with shooting with intent, shop breaking, larceny, and illegal possession of firearm and ammunition. Police report that on March 17, about 4:30 a.m., lawmen on patrol were alerted to a shop breaking in progress at Lawrence Tavern Square. Upon their arrival, they were reportedly met by men who opened gunfire at them. The hoodlums managed to escape. However, Williams was held on April 3rd when he turned up at a hospital to seek treatment, the police said. A court date is being finalized for the suspect. Harsher laws for bad cops. The Police High Command has signaled to legislators that it wants more consideration to be given to creating unique laws for members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force (JCF) who engage in criminal conduct. Deputy Commissioner of Police DCP Dr. Kevin Blake is an impassioned presentation on Wednesday to Parliament Public Administration and Appropriations Committee PAAC argued that those members of the JCF who chose criminality should pay a higher price than other categories of perpetrators. A criminal is a criminal. It doesn't matter what uniform they put on, and they should be treated way harsher. They are the persons who are paid by the taxpayers and the stakeholders to provide security. You have no business getting involved in crime. So these persons have to decide which side of the fence they are on. I wish we had stronger legislation, separate from legislation that deals with the normal citizen. There should be a higher level of consequence when you betray your office, when you betray your country. There should be no love, said DCP Blake, who is in charge of force development and logistics in the JCF. He was speaking on the factor driving crime of the country and how the JCF is handling the challenges of crime management. Blake further insists that the JCF must guard its reputation. Every time that a member flatters that perception, each of us has to live with that, he said, pointing out that with the best of efforts, some members still find themselves on the wrong side of the law they have vowed to enforce. Our responsibility is to ensure that even those who ill intent do not have the opportunity. We don't have the luxury of frustration, but it doesn't weigh on us sometimes when we see these things happen. But we are committed to ensure that we leave no stone unturned to remove those members from among us, he stated. DCP Blake's comments come after 42-year-old Constable Shellen Allen, who was held with cocaine on and inside her body entering the United States in February, pleaded guilty to the charges in the federal district court in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Allen, who was suspended from the JCF after her arrest, faces up to 49 years in federal prison on drug charges. Further, in March, several members of the constabulary were arrested in a major police operation after they were identified as members of the Clarendon-based Ranco Gang, which has been linked to shootings, robberies, and abductions between 2019 and 2021. The police also reported that the leader of the gang is a cop. On Wednesday, DCP Blake said the entire country needs to send a strong message to criminals. We need to send a signal to those individuals as a state that this is not okay. That signal must be sent unequivocally. It is not just about policing, he said. He argued that criminals are now profiting from crime out of the sheer greed, not out of need. It's not survival anymore, it's greed. It's not for want of economical opportunities, it's gone beyond that, and the state must demonstrate a level of intolerance to these types of things, he stressed. Noting the damage to Jamaica's reputation internationally, DCP Blake pointed out, for example, the most government sites in the U.S. currently block business from Jamaica due to the level of scamming associated with the jurisdiction. Stakeholders collaborating to help reduce violence in schools, says Williams. Various stakeholders within the education sector are collaborating to implement psychosocial and socio-emotional learning activities to help reduce violence in schools. The stakeholders include principals, guidance counselors, health and family life teachers, and the deans of discipline. We have developed a model that was shared with all schools, and we ask that the focus be given to our high school students, and in particular, our fourth form students who would be in grade 10 in the first round of these psychosocial and socio-emotional learning activities, Minister of Education and Youth Favour Williams says. Speaking in the 2022-2023 sectoral debate in the House of Representatives on April 12, Williams informed that since the resumption of full face-to-face classes this year, several high schools have come to national attention with fights and stabbings. She mentioned the unfortunate stabbing death of Kamal Hall of William Knibb Memorial High School, as well as the death of 15-year-old Kenneth Williams from Popine High School, who was shot and killed on his way to school in a reported robbery attempt. We are focusing on our fourth formers because for them the data is suggesting that the COVID-19 impact is greatest. Our current grade 10 students have their first year of high school, which was grade 7 in September 2018 to June 2019, Williams stated. They would have missed approximately one-third of their secondary year, which was grade 8, during September 2009 to June 2020, They missed all of their third year, which was grade 9 during September 2020 to June 2021. They already missed about half of their fourth year, which is grade 10, during this current school year, September 2021 to June 2022, she pointed out. She noted that the typical grade 10 student is about 15 years old, just entering adolescence. Williams pointed out that almost 2 years of a structured school learning environment have gone and almost 2 years of building friendships have gone. The typical grade 10 student is entering their teenage years, age 15 to 17. Psychologists say there is a time of change for how teenagers think, feel, and interact with others, and a time of change for how their bodies grow. This is also an important time to prepare for more independence and responsibility, especially for our boys, and it is scary. It is really rough time mentally for grade 10 students in particular, she stated. The minister informed that an intervention will be held from April 25 to 29, 2022, under the theme, Embracing a Winning Well-Being. Williams said schools have the flexibility to replicate and adapt this concept as the need arises. We want to focus on providing psychosocial support to our grade 10 students primarily to help them through this period, the minister explained. Even while we are using measures that include suspension for fights, and we use metal detectors and additional resource officers, we recognize that our students need some heavy-duty psychosocial support to begin to see a greater level of socio-emotional intelligence, competencies, and skills that will enable our students to manage their emotions, thus getting to that state where they can resolve conflicts without violence, she added. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.